What is up, guys? My name is 58, and I'm debuting something kind of new here, something a little bit out of the box, out of my comfort zone. It is called 619 Live. It's pretty much a podcast where I just talk shit for about, I don't know, as long as I can keep myself going. So, here today on the first ever series, if you haven't been able to tell by the title, I'm here to discuss 205 Live and some of the issues that I have with it. So, just before I get started, like I said, I've decided to try something a little bit different, doing a live stream. Don't really know what made me want to do a video in this format, but like I said, it's a little bit out of my comfort zone. Thought I might give it a crack and experiment it a little, and it's a good way to break in the new internet that we just got. So, anyway, I think that's all I wanted to say before I got started. So, let's get into it. So about a week or so ago, WWE put out a survey about 205 Live and why fans aren't watching it, and that's created a lot of speculation about 205's future. So pretty much the whole point of it is basically WWE saying, we know 205 Live isn't working, and asking ways that they can improve the show. Like even going as far as saying, why aren't you watching 205 Live? Like in a pretty passive aggressive way. So I didn't get the survey, unfortunately, but in this video, I'm just going to quickly list, why I don't watch 205 Live or, pay much attention to the Cruiserweight division as a whole. Right, so the first issue that I have with the Cruiserweights in 205 Live would be the match length, really. The length of Cruiserweight matches, it's pretty much laughable. You can even compare it to the Divas division from about 2011 to 2015-ish. And, those were the matches where you knew, you could go, take a dump or get some lunch or something. And by the time you got back, you wouldn't have missed much. And to be honest, those Cruiserweight matches feel the same way. And I'm not putting shit on the Cruiserweights, they're a bunch of talented folk, they're risking their health and everything by putting on a show for fans like myself. But it's just not a compelling division, to be honest, if they're getting 15 minutes of in match time on a flagship show that is 3 hours long. The Cruiserweight matches should go for at least 10 minutes, and they should not be like total spot fests where there's about 20 million different flips in the match. Let them tell a story in the ring and get fans interested in the match. Have storylines progress or be created, and you'll draw some interest to the Cruiserweight division. Having 3-minute matches on Raw only turns viewers away and damages the credibility of the Cruiserweight division, in my opinion. So that's my first gripe with the Cruiserweight division. Next up is the storylines. In my opinion, 205's storylines are just not compelling, to be honest. The last Cruiserweight feud that I really paid attention to was Austin Aries versus Neville, and that had to have been, 8-9 months ago now? 8 or 9 months? And it was a bit of a letdown of a feud, because the WrestleMania match was pushed to the pre-show, and, Neville won all of the matches in the series, which pretty much damaged Austin Aries' momentum as a face. And I didn't really mind that Neville won all the matches because I liked Neville as a heel. But it just doesn't make a good feud if you're going to whitewash somebody. But anyway, I'm going off track here. Another thing that really bugged me with the Cruiserweight storylines is how Drew Gulak, Noam Dar, Tony Nese, and whoever else is in that little Cruiserweight faction that Enzo Amore's got, they were all involved in attacking Enzo Amore, when he won the Cruiserweight Championship after he put all this shit on them, saying, I made this division or whatever. And then, the next week, they're all good mates. And without a good explanation, or without any explanation, actually, I'm not sure who's writing the storylines for 205 Live, but they could do with a good kick up the arse of 3. All right. And another thing that I that prevents me from watching 205 Live is the scheduling. And it really bugs me. Like, whoever thought, oh, let's start 205 Live after SmackDown? They need to be fucking thrown off the roof of WWE HQ, to be honest. After SmackDown, the crowd is basically going to be dead tired because they've seen guys like Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens, Randy Orton, John Cena sometimes, AJ Styles. And here you are expecting them to be fucking energized and excited for what you're marketing as the D show? Get the fuck out of here with that shit. So my solution would be to move 205 Live to a different night, for one, or start it before SmackDown, as a way to get the fans hyped up, and so that they're not dead tired, like, by whatever time 205 Live is on in America, or just film it at Full Sail before NXT. And just why WWE won't use a single ounce of logic here is beyond me. But I'm pretty sure that Heat, Velocity, and Superstars weren't taped immediately after Raw or SmackDown. So why should we have to have this level of frustration towards the mishandling of the Cruiserweights when there's such a simple fix? When it's easy. Just put 205 Live on at a different time. Like, don't put it on after SmackDown. Don't put it on, like, after Raw, because, like I said, the crowd is going to be dead and tired. Just move it to a different night. Alright, now that that's out of the way, I want to talk about the style of wrestling real quick. And, the reason that the Cruiserweight Classic was such a huge success last year is because, as far as I could tell and as far as I know, the competitors in the tournament didn't really have any sort of limitations on what they could do or how they wrestled. And then pretty much as soon as the Cruiserweights came to Raw, as soon as 205 Live started, it was like WWE said, mate, you're fucking wrestling our way or you're fucking out of here. Door's right there. Fucking use it if you don't want to wrestle like us. And it just goes back to what I said earlier. Like, if you're wrestling that way, the match seems more like a spot fest. And then the next thing you know, it's over before you can even get invested into it. And that doesn't really create any sort of interest in the Cruiserweights. So basically what I'm saying here is let them wrestle the way that they did to get themselves noticed by the WWE. Give them a little bit of leeway on what they can do for the good of 205 Live and the Cruiserweight division. Alright, next point I've got here is lack of star power. And to be honest, there aren't really any big names in the Cruiserweight division, which kind of sucks. And also, there's not really any characters that stand out on 205 Live, and that kind of hurts it. So, I remember it was sometime last year, I think it was when Braun Strowman was just getting built up as like the monster heel, and I think Grand Metalik faced him or something, or someone from the Cruiserweight division faced him, and he ripped off Metalik's mask, or whoever it was, he ripped off their mask after the match, and no one really cared about it because there's no real backstory as to why the mask is so important to him, besides, oh, he's Mexican, oh, Lucha Libre, oh, you can't rip off a mask, that's disrespect, etc., etc. And, you can argue the fact that someone like Enzo Amore does draw attention to 205 Live, and he is a character that stands out, but that also doesn't cancel out the fact that he turned a lot of people away from watching 205 Live when he won the title off Neville. So you could have easily built the division around somebody like Jack Gallagher instead of some guy that talks a bunch of shit that doesn't even make sense. Alright, next one, and I think this might be my last point here, is the segregation from everybody on Raw. And this is my biggest gripe with 205 Live, and I think a lot of people would agree. Like, apparently if you appear on 205 Live, then on 205 Live you will stay for the rest of your career. You can't be a Cruiserweight and be a tag team on Raw. Son. You can't be on fucking Raw. You can't be on SmackDown. You can't go after the US Intercontinental, WWE, Universal titles. Nope. You're stuck on a dead-end show where there's nowhere to go. And the peak is probably a mid-card match on Raw or one of Raw's events. So no progress is made. And that's where they really dropped the ball with the Cruiserweights and why Austin Aries was only in WWE for like 6 months, and probably a big part of why Neville is currently on leave. So the Cruiserweights should be able to appear on Raw and SmackDown, and they should be involved in stables, tag team storylines outside of their division. You know, you look back like 10, 15 years at the Cruiserweight division of old, and they got it spot on. You'd see guys like Rey Mysterio fight the Big Show and the Great Khali. You know, Cruiserweight tag teams would be in the tag team division. Cruiserweights would be in tag teams with guys, you know, above their weight class. You know, guys like Hurricane and Kane and Brock Lesnar and Tajiri in that for that one night in the SmackDown tag team tournament in 2002. You know, just to name a couple of examples. And, you know, the Cruiserweights could compete for the United States or WWE title. Things like that made the Cruiserweight division a good thing back in the day. You know, I didn't say great because Hornswoggle won the Cruiserweight title in like 2007, and that pretty much was the end of it. That was like pretty much just Vince McMahon shitting all over the Cruiserweights. But anyway, people like Daniel Bryan, Rey Mysterio, and Shawn Michaels, you know, they were all smaller guys. You know, they were not like fucking 8 foot tall, like 300 something pounds, whatever. And, you know, they were proof that smaller guys can be the focal point of like Raw and SmackDown. So why can't that be a thing with the 205 Live superstars? You know, why do they have to be stuck on 205 Live fighting other cruiserweights? It just makes no sense. You know, I really want 205 Live to succeed. Like, I really do. But all the problems that I've just listed need to be addressed for it to gain any sort of traction in terms of, like, viewership. Stuff like that. Adding big names, but, you know, not addressing anything else isn't really going to help 205 Live or the Cruiserweight division, in my opinion. You know, they're hyping up like a Hideo Itami to come into the Cruiserweight division, I think. I don't know. Like I said, I haven't really watched 205 Live, and I also don't really watch Raw that much. But, you know, if you're going to add Hideo Itami, then sure, it's kind of a step in the right direction, but you're just adding a big name and, you know, pretending that the other problems don't exist. So I'm hoping that whoever got the survey about 205 Live, I'm hoping that they've all made their voices heard and that WWE does something to fix the Cruiserweight division. And I think this is where I'm going to leave it. I think I've made all the points that I've wanted to make here. Thank you so much for tuning in to hear me chuck in my 2 cents about the Cruiserweights. Hopefully I can get something else out before 2017 ends, and maybe another episode of 619 Live, because this is actually a lot of fun. If you did enjoy it, then leave a like and comment your views on 205 Live, the Cruiserweight division, and, you know, whether you agree or disagree with what I've said here. Subscribe to myself and my fellow Bullshit Club members, Billy Marcus TV, Jack Southall. Links to their channel will be in the description on YouTube once I have ended this live stream. I am at the 5/8 on Twitter if you want to follow me there. And like I said, I'm going to wrap it up here. Thank you for watching. Have a good one.